Ladies and gentlemen, we have a groovy little film for you from south of the border tonight.
Okay, all I'm going through is who's on first.
Who's that?
Who's on second? Okay, but when I asked you before, you said who's on first. No, I was trying to tell you.
Yes,
Well, I don't know who's
speechless.
on third.
Is that a friend of Renee's?
Me and Renee don't know nothing.
Oh, are you here for a case of beer?
No. What, you got one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe later. But I'm in a little bit of a pickle, gentlemen.
Does that pickle happen to involve a strange-looking man in a straitjacket?
So you've met him. You've met Renfield.
Wait, Renfield. Renfield, the land solicitor, the guy who went all the way over to Transylvania and brought Dracula back here.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh boy.
Let's say the Royal Fellows have offered me a unique opportunity to study him.
So by studying him, you mean you went to Arkham and broke him out and brought him back?
Yeah, a little bit.
How's that dude even alive? He's got to be over 200 years old.
Well, he lives off of insects and spiders. They're low in cholesterol, high in protein. He stretches every day. He's got good DNA.
Come on, Professor. Me, you, and Renee, we go hunt this Renfield down. Sound good?
Renee? Roll with it, Professor, and ixnay on the elf's name. Well, finally, I'm going to get the intro of this here film. Folks, it's a movie about dolls, cursed voodoo dolls, and an evil voodoo priest that uses them to exact vengeance on a group of Mexican archaeologists. But before we roll this creepy little film, we need to listen to a message from our sponsors.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
You know, after a night of showing groovy horror flicks and bailing Deke out for raiding the chicken coop, there ain't nothing like a good old cup of hot coffee. And let me tell you, the best coffee you ever put in your mouth comes from Drogo Coffee and Tea. That's right, folks, Drogo Coffee and Tea. They got several varieties to choose from. And as you might have guessed from the name, they have many wonderful varieties of tea that are excellent as well. You won't find them in the store. You have to go online to drogocoffee.com. They'll deliver that hot coffee right to your doorstep. That's drogocoffee.com. Listen to Hickson Football Friday nights on River City Media. River City Media has the best tri-state sports coverage of high school and college sports with a local flair and a personal touch. Find us on Facebook at River City Media and YouTube at River City Media. Do you enjoy the South Cumberland State Park? It is a rock climber's paradise with many miles of hiking trails and dotted with waterfalls and caves. When you're here, make sure to visit Red Point Inn Restaurant and Mountain Gear Store, located on the historic Courthouse Square in beautiful Jasper, Tennessee. That's 30 Courthouse Square, aka Betsy Pack Drive. The phone number is area code 423-651-9869. Red Point Inn is open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and until 10 on Fridays and Saturdays. They serve brunch, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. They serve appetizers, espresso drinks, pizza, calzones, pasta, hearty sandwiches, wings, salads, soups, and desserts. And they have a full-service rock climbing shop located on the second floor. Order online for pickup or delivery at their website, redpointinn.com, or on their Facebook page at redpointinn. Well, hey, folks. Here's Grim, and I bet you're looking for something special for Halloween, and I've got something special from you from Twisted Hippie Goods. Everything is handmade with professional grade textile dyes, so there won't be no fading or no bending. So check them out at Etsy.com, shop Twisted Hippie Goods. At Hippie Fest in Dayton on September 14th, the Uncommon Market in Asheville, North Carolina, September 29th. And for those out-of-state folks, the Etowah Fall Festival in Etowah on October 5th. There may be a cursed voodoo doll in Ravinia's future. TJ, roll that creepy voodoo footage.
Did you come across any interesting art objects for your collection?
That's precisely why we wanted this young lady to come tonight. Doctor, you're profoundly interested in all these occult sciences, and I understand you've studied indigenous traditions. We'd like your opinion of what we're about to tell you. John, Albert, Danny, and I made a visit to Haiti, where we witnessed at least a dozen voodoo rites in the jungle.
Am I correct in saying that the zombies are from there?
Yes. It all came from southern Africa, the origin of voodoo. Their god is a snake who's supposed to change dead people into zombies. Supposedly this god can make these zombies in all shapes and forms.
Ah, he makes the dead walk again. I can assure you that we didn't run into any of them. It's only an old superstition.
But to those natives, it's a religion.
Surely you know that the voodoo rites that we saw there were only to please the tourists. But do go on, won't you?
While returning, something happened in the jungle. There was an old man there. Obviously, he wanted to make some money just like anyone else. We gave him enough to ensure his cooperation. I persuaded the man to take us along to a secret meeting that was going on, and the four of us witnessed the affair.
But that's completely taboo for strangers.
Exactly.
What a risk you took.
Please tell us why.
There are certain groups in that religion that are guided by witch doctors, you know. The names are horrible. The Matanga, or the Zogamia, generally don't bleed a rooster or a pigeon, or sometimes a goat or even a dog, the way they do in customary voodoo rites. They sacrifice human beings. Tell me, did you see this?
Yes. We were in the voodoo temple. The drums made such a deafening racket, you couldn't hear anything. They had placed greased wood torches all along the walls, illuminating a handful of witch doctors who were spinning in all sorts of weird contortions. They pranced about and screamed, half crazed with the idea of making human blood flow. I'm describing a savage dance. They were staring straight ahead. In the flickering light of the torches, their teeth glittered like stainless steel. But the dance was secondary. I hardly watched. What attracted me was an idol. and it seemed that the dancers were worshiping it. The idol was perfect in every aspect. How I wanted to add it to the collection I own.
After a few moments standing there, we backed out slowly. Those men could have discovered us.
You went back later, I suppose.
Yes, the next night. I knew I couldn't possibly ask them to sell me the idol, and so we agreed to return.
And against my will, gentlemen.
The haunting silence and the blackness of the night were overpowering. Thank you. I went to the idol and removed it from its pedestal. Just as we were about to escape from the temple, this brilliant, mysterious light flooded the room, and the high priest of the voodoo cult was standing there before us.
And then what?
At that moment, we ran out quickly and heard him shouting at us angrily in the Creole.
And you understood it?
He cursed and swore at the four of us, offering death to the entire group because he considered us criminals.
Did I tell you that these priests who control voodoo cults, the Gants of Congress as they are called, use powers that modern science doesn't understand?
But how?
The Congress usually tend to combine their voodoo rites with an art called banga.
Banga?
Black magic, dear. There are those that defend the arts of voodoo, who affirm that the two aren't related. There are certain men called bocos, who use black magic. The Khandra frequently is also a boko. He is two persons in one.
How do they employ these powers?
This form of magic is used by witch doctors for curing. They make use of certain roots and herbs that have value. But on other occasions, they use it destructively, invoking evil spirits with such names as Kita, Bakalu, Sandor. This is when they want blood. You've all heard the fable about how they're able to change persons into zombies to make them slaves. They also use magic to conjure up evil curses and to destroy their enemies, too. Different things are used in this black magic, you know. At times, it's a wax image resembling the victim who will die. They also use a miniature coffin and a toad as well. They frequently eliminate the individual with poison. That's horrid.
So, forgive me, Doctor. But to my way of thinking, this whole business is pure fakery.
It's a big mistake for you to joke about an old tribal cult that has powers you can't imagine.
Are you trying to suggest that the terrible curse that the witch doctor hurled at us is going to reach us, here, in the city?
Well, I hope it doesn't occur. I can assure you of that.
It was wrong. No one has a right to steal from a temple. I'm sorry I sinned. It's too late now. I sinned terribly.
That's exactly it, John. So try to stop worrying.
Can you tell us of your guide, the one who took you to the temple?
They found him a day later. He'd been killed under mysterious circumstances. I've been observing you, and I've noticed a reproachful look on your face. I must admit that we were unscrupulous in bringing the idol here, but you must know that when a collector really wants to get his hands on something, he either buys it, or when it's impossible to do so, well, let me show you.
That's the sacred idol of the Combas. What have you done, Doctor?
I only brought it home as a souvenir.
This is frightening. No matter where you go or hide, Doctor, you'll be hunted out and the curse will come true. They'll only try to get the idol back after all of you are dead and buried.
Don't get upset, Doctor. There's no sense to it. And besides, I invited you to the house tonight because the voodoo priest set a time limit for the curse that ends tonight, in about 5 minutes. He told us that exactly 13 moons after that date, at midnight, one of us would be dead. Now, please look at your watch. It's exactly 5 minutes to 12. And here you have 4 men completely alive and breathing.
The lights went
I
out.
want everybody to calm down. Calm down. The lightning probably hit a power line or something. The lights will come back.
The candles, sir.
Ah, thank you.
Papa, Papa! Did you hear that? The baby's awake again.
Stay here. I'll go up to her. I heard you calling for your papa. Did the lightning scare you?
Yes, Papa, I can't find my little dolly.
You had it right here on the bed, Patty, darling.
Yes, I had my arms around it, but it got down off the bed and it went over there towards the corner.
It did that all alone?
Yes.
Baby, don't say things like that. You're upset. I think you've been dreaming. You never saw a doll do that.
Yes, Papa, I saw him. I saw him.
Well, all right. Now, don't worry about it. Tomorrow, you and I'll find him. If we don't, then I'll buy you another one.
No, Daddy, I only want my little doll, and I don't want you to buy me another one.
Look, baby, the lights are out, and it's time you were fast asleep. Here we go. And I'll be here with you.
Hurry, call the hospital and have them send an ambulance.
Yes, Doctor.
You have done your job well, and you shall be rewarded. Your soul will rest for a long time. Soon, all of those who dared to profane our God will die. Not one member of their families will survive.
Gene, I'm so very sorry, but I wasn't able to do anything.
His back was broken. There, sis, be strong.
You're thinking about Louis, aren't you?
And his poor wife will be all alone now with a daughter to raise.
Yes. It was a senseless tragedy.
Darling?
Hmm?
You must have seen the wound he had on his leg. It was down by his ankle.
Yes, he probably got a splinter in it when he fell on the stairs.
But don't you think we'd have found it near his body? That splinter was pretty long.
What's on your mind, dear?
It was an accident and nothing more. Don't try to tell me voodoo curse because I'm not a child.
We scientists at times are bound to be a little too arrogant, and we tend to joke about supernatural things and refuse to give them their proper respect.
Young lady, where is the doctor? John is very badly hurt. Go in there. Do you know what's wrong with him? I haven't the slightest idea, Doctor.
There seems to be terror in his eyes.
That's right.
But what could he have witnessed? Could he be drugged? Doctor, look. I don't care how much this whole thing costs as long as I can get this case cleared up.
Please wait outside.
Do you think it's a drug?
Could be, darling, but I don't recognize it. Have a look. I'll need a blood analysis to decide. Prepare the syringe.
Yes, Doctor.
Turn off the lights.
What happened, Doctor?
I just finished examining the body and I'm completely mystified. There's no sign of a lesion on the skin. And the analysis didn't show me anything I could use either. And to be frank, I'm totally confused. There's no illness that I can remember, nor any drug that can produce a reaction like this. Has John ever been sick that you can recall? He's never had blackouts either?
No, Doctor.
Now let me see, just where did this whole thing occur?
At the house, Doctor. When he was there eating supper. I went along to my room for a moment. All of a sudden, I heard this sound. I found John unconscious. I brought the boy here immediately. Doctor, you know I have many enemies. John was my assistant. This is the work of my enemies. There's no doubt that they've been trying to hurt me. Now it could be that they saw an opportunity to get at me through the boy. When I look at him, I realize what could happen to me. I'm scared, Doctor. I can assure you that I don't want to be killed. I don't want to come face to face with the devil.
Doctor, please hurry, Doctor.
Honey, his heart stopped at least 3 minutes ago. Normally he'd be dead, but observe this. I've called you together to give you my opinion about John's death. I need not tell you how sorry we are.
First it was my husband, and then my brother. It's horrible.
We all realize you were quite fond of your brother and would like to know what caused his death, wouldn't you?
More than anything in the world, Doctor.
Did you learn anything more?
Yes, I think he was murdered.
But that's impossible.
Darling, I think you should let me hear the facts first. Can you prove what you say?
I examined John's cadaver as thoroughly as I could, and I arrived at the conclusion that his whole malady was completely mental. In going over it, it seems that his willpower just burned out and failed him. I think that was the cause.
I've never seen a healthy person drop dead just because he suddenly got the desire to do so.
I think there's a sound reason that brought about his death. In this case, I'm sure that John had an excellent motive. I believe he was confronted by some horrible vision, and he wanted to escape from it, though by doing so it meant death.
If we had proof, maybe...
And in this case, there are 2 deaths, not just one alone.
Come again, Doctor?
Did you forget that Lewis was also murdered?
But that was an accident.
They planned it, in my opinion.
And you think the 2 deaths were connected?
Yes, I'm sure, since those 2 people were also connected. Darling, you examined Lewis's body. Didn't you notice that frightful expression that John also had on his face?
Yes. I confess I did.
Why should the so-called killer want to murder these 2? What's the motive?
A strong one. 2 of the 4 men that went to Haiti are already dead.
You mean this is voodoo?
Certainly. What else? Is it love or money or hate or jealousy or maybe revenge? Just think about it a minute. Any of these motives are satisfactory. All of you have known each other for years, and you're the best of friends. It's a clear case of revenge.
But please, Doctor, are you trying to tell us that the old exorcist in the temple that laid down the malediction is going to make it good?
Then that must mean also that you think this strange chap came here from Haiti simply to carry out the curse.
But Haiti is miles and miles away. Why should he come all that distance?
Because voodoo revenge ignores distances. The 4 foolish men that went to the island not only violated the temple, they saw the sacred rites that are strictly forbidden. They're also robbers. They stole a little idol whose image is security to the cultists who pray to it. They committed a sin and they must pay.
But listen, there's no possible way to tell this to the police. Why, they'd call in a psychiatrist.
What can I do, just in case you're right, Doctor?
Well, I think there are several things you can do. Why don't you check into every move John made in the past few days?
Right.
How I wish I could put my finger on a couple of good leads. I think that this is simply the start of a long line of tragedies.
What do you mean by that?
I suspect that as soon as they murder the other two enemies that were cursed, they'll kill their families also.
You mean all our loved ones? Including our children?
I fear that's their intention.
According to your thinking, Dr. Karen, who do you think is next on the list?
You, Albert. Or one of your children. Or you, Daniel. The killer will probably strike against either one of you two.
You get right to sleep. It's way past your bedtime.
Good night.
Good night, Linda. And may the angels bless and watch over you.
Now, don't worry about it. I'll be perfectly all right.
Will they touch Linda?
Don't say things like that.
May I go now?
Did Linda go to sleep?
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like?
No, you may go to bed.
Excuse me. Today your sister sent a present over. For Linda.
What is it?
It's a medium-sized doll. The child's crazy about it and took it to bed with her.
Call your sister and thank her tomorrow. That was a sweet thing to do.
Well, good night.
Good night to you, Fanny.
Does your head bother you, sweetheart?
Yes, my head is splitting.
I'll go get you a pill. Helen? Did you see this?
No, darling.
It looks like a braid, and it came with the doll.
are you trying to say that that terrible little doll was responsible for the murder?
Yes, it seems so. You must have heard of individuals seeking revenge who, in order to do so, made a doll that resembled the victim. They'd puncture it with pins and needles, and the person attacked would begin to shout in agony.
I think it's all nothing but an idiotic superstition.
You mustn't try to attach any reason to this. It has nothing to do with science in our profession. You think this is irrational? Then try to explain to me the whereabouts of the doll that was sent to Martha. It wasn't around her room, you know.
No, I can't.
All there is the box it came in.
And the doll evaporated.
I don't know. But I'd say that the box proves she wasn't lying. She had no reason to do so. Just now I talked to you about dolls being stuck with needles. That act is part of the black magic of voodoo. And besides, in ancient Egypt, a certain form of doll was used for wreaking revenge.
In what way?
They did the murdering.
You mean the dolls? Perhaps you can tell us how they move about, Doctor.
You mean what gives them life?
Exactly.
The spirits do it. When the witch doctor murders a man, black magic is the method he uses, making the wandering soul come to occupy a puppet's body. The dolls are obligated to obey.
All?
A few resist. There are forces around that fight us, but the Lord has infinite wisdom and he permits them to exist. These forces come out into the open in many ways. They manifest their existence through witch doctors and those that walk arm in arm with evil. But at times there are forces that fight black magic. They always show themselves in certain tenacious individuals that refuse to follow orders. They become the instruments of the powers of goodness and virtue.
In any case, what do you suggest we do now, Doctor?
Maybe this is the first lucky break we've had up to now, the first ray of light in all this darkness.
Haven't you decided what we should do yet?
Now listen, it's absolutely necessary that you send your men to guard the families that have been threatened.
What's your reason?
Well, I suppose they'll soon get more of these horrible dolls. Trail the man that brings the dolls. Take care that he doesn't see you. I want to know exactly where he goes afterward. Then we'll see what can be done. There's probably a way out, and I don't think I'm mistaken.
I understand. So I'll go with my men to handle this thing. Goodbye.
Boss, over there.
This is what we were waiting for. I'll be back soon, don't worry. We're going to the doctor's house now, so step on it and forget the lights. Faster, Billy.
Stop here. The boss has been hurt.
You three were alone in the car?
The doll was with us.
You'll have to give your version as to what actually happened out there tonight. It's clear that he was stabbed to death. So I'll have to call the police.
Just a minute. What reason would I have for killing him? I'd have cut off my right arm for him. He knows that.
I can't attribute this death to a simple doll. I just can't. Would you please get the doll?
Right away. It's the image of Mr. Lewis, isn't that right?
And actually, you think this stupid doll has the ability to murder someone? Don't be ridiculous.
I just don't know. It could drive a man half crazy.
What do you think I should do now?
Doctor, I just need time. If I can't locate the criminal, then send this to the police.
He's still breathing.
Thank God. Will he live?
A good chance if there's no infection. He's been stabbed. I'm not sure yet, but I think his heart was punctured by something. He was in a continuous coma, and a second ago he came out of it. Take him into the operating room and stay there until I return. When Robert can talk again, he'll tell us exactly what happened. Until that time, you two are free to do as you like.
I'll go over to that house and make that guy confess.
No, for the time being, just watch him. He shouldn't be alerted until Robert can tell us the whole thing, just as it happened.
All right.
But don't talk about this with anyone. The story's so fantastic, the police won't believe us anyway.
He's still showing a lot of progress. He's not completely out of this deep coma, but Tell me, dear, where did you get it?
It came with a doll. I just found it.
It's a sorcerer's ladder, sweetheart. It's a dangerous thing. If a witch doctor can get it into your pocket, then he has great power over you. Yes, it's a ladder, all right, made of human hair.
Well, pick it up and examine it.
Don't you understand? It's witchcraft.
Yes? No, tell him to call me later. I'm busy right now.
Come here, dear.
There's blood on this needle.
One moment. Are we opening the doll?
Yes. What did you do that for?
Because it was necessary.
Karen? Karen!
He almost had me for a moment.
Yes? What happened?
Doctor, I think you'll be happy to know that the patient isn't in a coma any longer. Yes, he's awake now.
Robert just awakened.
Yes, I know. I destroyed the knots. The spell is over. We burned the evidence in order to be safe.
Curse of the Doll People is one of several Mexican horror flicks translated by K. Gordon Murray.
You mean there was more than one?
Yeah, there were several, in fact. Curse of the Aztec Mummy, Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, the Brainiac, the Bloody Vampire, and more. Okay, it sounds like the hunt for Renfield's getting pretty heated. We need to listen to a word from our sponsors before we get back to tonight's movie. Do you need a place to put your stuff? Call South Pittsburgh Storage at 423-815-1180. South Pittsburgh Storage has 192 climate-controlled storage units conveniently located at 212 First Street in downtown South Pittsburgh. Do you need a place to store your RV or your boat? Call South Pittsburgh Storage. They have RV and boat storage units available. Do you need a moving truck? Call South Pittsburgh Storage. They have Penske trucks for rent. South Pittsburgh Storage has a state-of-the-art security system so you can sleep soundly at night, knowing that your storage unit is safe and sound. Call 423-815-1180.
Hey, Grim.
Yes, Deke.
You know that tarantula problem we were having, man?
Yes.
They're back.
Oh. It's too late for Deke. But before the bugs bite at your house, call Tennessee Termite and Pest Control.
Pesky little buggers.
Do you remember the good old days of Harry Thornton and professional wrestling in Chattanooga? Well, folks, I have a group that I want to tell you about. Forever Pro Wrestling. You watch these folks and you are going to be taken back. Except they have some new moves, and I think it's even better than Harry Thornton's wrestling back in the good old days. So find them on their social media. That's Forever Pro Wrestling.
And now, let's watch the rest of tonight's movie.
Try not to make any noise. Our patient will get better faster if you two maintain silence. Who's speaking? Yes, that's right. He's much better now. Yes, you should keep your men there. Frankly, darling, I admit that I'm completely confused.
That's natural. You've begun to find out that your magnificent scientific theories have crumbled.
I don't know what to think.
Go to the emergency room, darling, and try to get a little sleep. The nurse will call you when Robert wakes up. You need some rest.
Thank you. I'm crazy about you, Doctor.
The same goes for me, Doctor. Well, good night.
Help me get him into bed.
Is this the way you protect a man? As guards, you two are useless.
This is too serious for you to accuse us like that.
Let's hear the whole story.
Doctor, we heard a noise. When we came in, we found the boss on the floor and the nurse in the chair, just like she is. I think that's about all, don't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's no answer.
He won't believe us anyway.
I know that, but go on and tell him.
I thought that we'd seen two cats. It looked like, well, that they were fighting there in the window. So we took out our revolvers, but we didn't fire because you told us not to make any noise. We heard the music. The two bodies separated and went out the window together. I hurried over to the window, and nothing was there.
You really saw two things at the window?
Yes.
What were they?
Dolls.
Can you tell us more?
I'd say they were large. Let's see, this tall, more or less.
A child's glasses.
Or a doll's, maybe. Find Alfonso. Hurry and tell him to call me here.
Yes, Doctor.
But, Doctor, it's too much for you alone.
I don't think so.
I'd better call Dr. Baldwin.
Do as you please, Alfonso. But in just a moment I'm going into that house and you won't be able to stop me.
I'll go along, too.
No, I'll do this alone. But meanwhile, stay parked here and keep an eye open.
But, Doctor, You know you might get hurt.
Alfonso, I think you'll recall that a couple of weeks ago your boss, Mr. Robert, told you to obey my orders like his. Or did you forget what he said?
Oh, all right.
house mailman! Whoa, that does it, baby. This is too scary for me. Elvis has done left the building. No! No, Elvis! Come back! I am much afraid! Do not leave me alone!
Let her go. I'm quite flattered by your visit.
Do you know me?
Of course I do, and I was waiting for you. Please sit down, Doctor. You and I have much to talk about.
That monster.
Sabud? He is very strange, but extremely useful. He's in charge of delivering my dolls to my clients. He's usually quite harmless. And you seem to be extremely tired. Yes, you are extremely tired. Isn't that right? Here in this house there is tranquility, an atmosphere of calm, of peace. My movements lend you a certain peace.
That monster is a zombie.
Exactly. A dead man whose soul has fled its creaking old body. But you should not fear him. He'll harm no one unless I order him to. And I have no interest in hypnotizing the dead tonight. Try to relax. It is beneficial at times to find refuge in a place where the only thing that surrounds you is peace. You need rest, Doctor. Now relax. Life is exhausting. It drains our energy from us. You are exhausted. So exhausted. My dolls, Doctor, are works of art. I'm sure you would like to see them. Come. In my specialty, this is one of my best dolls. He's good and very obedient. This other one hasn't behaved quite so well. This doll is disobedient. And the dolls that don't behave themselves are promptly punished. Why, I do think that you're upset, Doctor. Well then, out with the pins. You've had enough punishment for one occasion. I'll wager you'd like to have this doll. But before he becomes separated from me, he must be taught several lessons, Doctor. Now listen to this, Doctor. You and your friends need a most important lesson as well. Your young fiancé who denies the existence of all he is unable to measure or place under a microscope is assuredly a drooling idiot. But nevertheless, he, you, and all of your satellites try to impede my just revenge. They challenge my work. They fight me. I possess knowledge related to the most ancient sciences, and your science is nothing as compared to it, you see. It's quite true. Only I know who commands the dark forces of death and malice. And all the occult forces gather around at the sound of my voice. Do you still presume to pit your sciences against mine? How stupid. Now speak.
What a cruel and vile thing. You're a killer, and you'll go to jail for your crimes. I'll see to that.
Are you going to turn me in? Who'd believe you? No one. Don't forget what you're going to hear now, Doctor. I don't think you'd like to be murdered, nor would your friends. But you all will be unless the spies are called off. There's no way you can help that dog, Robert. He is mine now. But I order you and your fiancée to stop your foolish meddling. Do you understand me? I do not want more opposition, so obey and leave me alone, Doctor. I don't fear your spies. I'm offended by them. So go tell your doctor to get rid of them tonight. That'll be all. Now go home. That poor creature is asking for help, but you're unable to give it to him. Now go, and not a word of what you have seen or heard here.
I was getting worried, Doctor. I was just about to go in and look for you.
Take me to the hospital, then get some men together and come back and watch this place.
That stupid woman has departed.
She foolishly thinks she is safe from our displeasure, but she is mistaken. She must die far from here. Voodoo must not foul our temple.
Go over there and stop him.
Doctor, you all right?
There were two voodoo dolls.
Take it easy, dear. If all your men keep their promises the way Alfonso does, I must say it's a miracle that you're alive and breathing.
Alfonso is intelligent and faithful, too. I won't blame him without hearing the whole story. We'll wait till he comes back, and then we'll hear his story. Then we'll know what to do.
What are you going to do now?
Eliminate that witch doctor. Also his zombie, and I'll do it by morning. There's been too much of a delay, and I don't want to wait any longer. These crimes have to be stopped.
What happened to you? We tried to arrest the man with the dolls. It just wasn't possible. I fired the gun till it was empty. He didn't fall. For the love of God, boss, tell me. What kind of a man is that?
It's a zombie, a dead man that walks. Bullets don't affect it.
We'd better be going.
And what are you going to do now?
The zombie and the witch doctor must die. You don't feel that I'm right?
No. It's against all my concepts of justice and God's law. You and I are not killers, you know.
They murdered our best friends, isn't that true? Look, Doctor, you know just as well as I do. Our laws can't punish that kind of person. For that reason, I'll do it. And it doesn't put me in the category of a killer. It's simply a way to do justice.
But, boss, the zombie's immune to our bullets. How can you kill him?
The only practical thing is fire. Its effect is purifying. The zombies, you know, are the devil's creatures, but they fear fire because that in itself represents the awful fate that eternity has in store for them.
Why did you take so long? I knew that you would come, gentlemen. Hold on a minute.
Don't look at the man, Robert. Don't be a fool.
You're trying to avoid my gaze. How stupid. Don't you know you can't fight these eyes? You'd like to kill me. Isn't that true, Robert? I will give you the opportunity. We shall see if you can. Well, try it. Try, Robert. Start to fire. Don't touch it. Obey me. You are all under hypnosis. My power dominates. Yes, they are yours now, and Saboud's. And now you must pay for all your stupid meddling. For that reason, you'll be put to death by my dolls and by Saboud. Do your duty. They must die here. Kill the intruders. down the torches. I said throw down the torches. I can see that you're trying to take something out of your pocket, Doctor. You are powerless against my will, understand? Are you still not convinced that you are under my spell? I shall permit you to remove it to demonstrate that there is no power on earth that is stronger than mine. Take it out, Doctor. Take it out.
You're helpless, aren't you?
If I'm going to die, then you'll all die with me.
Now, was that a creepy movie or was that a creepy movie?
Renfield. We just call Renee to come in and help me. I thought he was going to help fight.
Yes, the master says the skunk ape is going to pay.
You don't make Renee mad, that'd be a bad thing for you. So I noticed this Renfield keeps talking to a master.
That ain't good.
Well, I mean, how bad could it be? They staked him in the 1890s. Yeah, that was in Dracula.
Mm-hmm. He came back in The Brides of Dracula. Dracula, the Prince of Darkness. The Scars of Dracula.
The sweat from Dracula's left armpit. I got it. But the point is, you don't think he could really be talking to Well, that's alarming.
Yes, it is. Not half as alarming as that was.
The master says he can save me, but the rest of you are screwed.